About to start. Shabbat Shalom. That was it. Then to sit down. So in 40 seconds, you're going to be leaving this with stand.
Excuse me. No.
So Shabbat Shalom. I ask your forgiveness if I'm a little out of balance for a little bit, only because we just got home less than an hour ago. After being gone for all of Passover. So we've gone for like 12 days. So please forgive me if I'm a little bit, got home, the kids emptied the car. And Matt, you can guess how well that went. And then,
I was afraid of that.
Yeah. And then, 13, it's okay. And then, Russian press, so please forgive me. And Benny is having fun in New York.
Oh, very good.
Roger, come do a chorus line with me. So you're stuck with me without Benny. There's Matt and I, so thank God you have Matt. How many of you had a good Passover? Passover ended last night, in case you weren't sure. I know because my children demanded cake, cookies, and ice cream. All at once, and that was just for breakfast this morning. So Pesach is over, and we are now in the counting of the Omer. And if you look in your prayer book, before we even start, we always start before we start. I find the page, but we have the counting of the Omer. The counting of the Omer is incredibly important. It marks the time between the Pesach, the Passover, and Shavuot, the time when we receive Cantorial, when we receive the Torah of Mount Sinai. There are traditions which we're going to talk about a little bit later, because other than be wise, you'd have to hear me sing, and that would be 4 octaves too low for everyone. So we are going to talk about it a little bit later, but somewhere here, there we go, page 732. We have this piece that we do as we begin the evening, every day. I'm counting the Omer. And today is Gevurah strength and strength. And so we read together. We're about to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer as it is written in the Torah. You shall count from the day following the day of rest, from the day that you brought an Omer of grain as an offering. 7 full weeks shall you be counted. You shall count 50 days to the day following the 7th week. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu tzutav tzivanu as yirat ha'omer. Blessed be you, Lord God of the universe, who has taught us the way of holiness through the mitzvot and enjoined it upon us the counting of the Omer. Today is day 9, and so we have this wonderful blessing that we do where we say, try to read it with me, Hayom Tisha Yamim Shehem Shabbat Echad B'Shnei Yamim Le'Omer. That today is the first week, and we've gone now 1 week and 2 days into the counting of the Omer. Today is Gevurah, strength within strength. It is all about, the next 24 hours is about Gevurah, about strength, and it's okay. Very, very quiet. We're going Michael under. So today is all about strength within strength, finding that place within us that really is strong and courageous. We'll talk about that too. Because why not? Because Benny's not here, so we can do a lot of talking. Let's see. So we begin, as always, with Hine Ma Tov as we welcome into Sabbath. And God for Matt to give a key. Hine Ma Tov Manai Sheverachim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Manai Sheverachim Gam Yachad. Sheverachim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Sheverachim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Manai Sheverachim Yahweh, Hine Matov Manai, Sheberachim Yahweh. Hine Matov Manai, Sheberachim Yahweh. Hine Matov Manai, Sheberachim. Could have some ladies come up, please, to light the Sabbath candles, followed by Shalom Aleichem. I understand we're going to be getting another monitor up here. Is that accurate?
Yes.
I don't know how it's going to be exactly balanced, but we'll figure that out. They will just put it right over. You know what, Orlando? We'll center it over this.
Yes.
Over that square, yeah. Because it can't be centered on the artist.
No.
All right, it's childproof lighter. Each of you ladies has courage. Someone?
Nice to see you.
You know, they all want to light the candles, but they're all terrified of using the lighter.
How many Jewish women does it take to?
None, because no lighter's as good as the first.
Just the button. Oh, that's the button.
That's
fine.
It's a lot of fun having it right down.
It's okay. I don't care if the service goes too loud. I got nowhere to go.
You got fun.
It's actually the real joke. Rebecca's, how many Jewish mothers does it take to light the candles?
That's right.
Don't worry, we'll just stay in the dark.
It never loses.
Well, man, as we welcome in the Sabbath, angels, the angels of peace, the Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Hashem,
Hace 2 semanas.
Wishing each other a good Shabbos. If my children are actually at home, since I said they just got home just less than an hour ago. We could have parents and children come on up here. Parents and children. Jen, I know you got a child.
I do.
I'm gonna come over here by Alex and Joel to make it easy. If I could get Stan, why don't you stay back there? Or Roger, why don't you stay back there, Stan? One on the corner this way. Rotate.
Where's your baby?
Rotate. There you go. All right. As we place our hands on our children, and my boys were watching at home. Simechel Ephraim Menashe, may God bless you. Like Ephraim Menashe. bless you. May God always bless us, bless you, and always protect you. And go through his countenance, be kind and gracious and compassionate. May God bless you with good health, with good mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health, with wisdom, with courage, with parnasa, with prosperity, with brotherhood, with sisterhood, with kindness, with strength, with courage, with gentleness, with compassion, with empathy, with patience, with fun, with love, and always with peace. Can you do this? Here. Not needed, not needed. We continue our service book in our prayer book on page 38 and on our screen as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Father D. La 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 Father D. La 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 la, you crack the lights. La 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 la, the day Shabbat. Monday Shabbat, the God. La 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 la, Father D. La 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 la, you crack the lights. La 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 la, the day Shabbat. Monday Shabbat, the God. What was up for? Protect and remember the Sabbath. Shon Bones Achor, V'Dibbur Echad, Ishmiyanu El HaMiuchad, Adonai Echad, U'Shmo Echad, Asher Hu Tiferet, Ve'Hilah. Hey, 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 hey. La 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 Today Shabbat, God smell like wave for the city of Jerusalem. Mikdash Melech, Yemeluchad, U'Mitzri, Ve'Tochatecha, Be a passion. What is it a bride searches for all the time? That's what we're welcoming this bride in, with honesty, with love, with simplicity, with ethics. gentleness and strength. We welcome the Sabbath bride so that we have this union on Shabbat. Now, throughout the week. Holy Shalom, Ateret Baba, Gam Besimcha, U'Sofo, Am Sekulah, Boi Kalam, Boi Kalam, hey, 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 la 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 la, you crack the la 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 la, B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Shabbat, Kabbalah. We're standing for the Baruch Hu on page 50. La 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, la 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 la. Baruch Hu es Adonai, Amevorach, Baruch Adonai, Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed, Amevorach, Amevorach. Please be seated. On page 51, we have Ma'ari Laravim. This is that prayer about separation between that which is holy and that which is holy. Rather than reading it for a moment, don't answer because I don't want to embarrass anyone in case. But think about how you observed Passover this past week. Did you have no cake? You have no cookies, no bread, no beer. Did you decide to be Ashkenazi and have no corn, no rice? Or did you decide to be Sephardic and have the Ketanyot and all of a sudden rice, you become Sephardic for the week? Suddenly, for a week, everyone's like having Moroccan. Did you have matzah? Yeah, don't answer anything. I want to embarrass everybody. Everyone has 4 months. So what is, when we talk about every week, we say, Ma'ariv, it's about the holy and the holy. Last week was holy, right? So special and holy, the shore of matzah. So what, bread's not holy? We say blessing of bread all the time, don't we? So in fact, the bread which is holy now, and was holy before Pesach, wasn't holy during Pesach. Matzah last week was holy. I don't know about you. I can wait another year for some matzah. I can only eat so much cardboard at a time. And matzah bride, it's not so much. So, and Francine, I don't know how you bake with, never mind, how you bake with the matzah would be beyond me anyhow. I'm sure there's a way.
It's very easy.
I'm sure the Schwartz baker makes a great chocolate cake. But so the point is that think for a moment the holiness of last week and the holiness of this week. It's different, isn't it? It's a marked difference. Just last night we could start eating bread again. We could start eating corn again unless you were Sephardic, in which case you were already eating corn. But so for a minute, think about that, because everything is holy in God's eyes. Is it holy in ours? When does it become holiness in us? When do we realize its holiness? When do we embrace embrace the sacredness of things. How many of you looked at the video that went out the other day? Talked about the holiness of a sacred space. All spaces are holy, but we need to be aware so that we can become in sync with that sacredness. So Ma'ariv Aravim is really about trusting that God knows when we show the holiness of night, the holiness of the day, the holiness of Pesach, the holiness of the counting of the Omer, the holiness of bread. I want to just point out, in case you were wondering, yes, tequila is holy during Pesach and not Pesach. I actually got a phone call from someone the day of Seder on Wednesday. I got a call. It's exactly what it felt like. So I got a call. He will remain nameless. And I get a call. He goes, Rabbi, I've got a really important question, a liturgical question. I go, what's that question? He says, we're supposed to have 4 glasses of wine. So I said, yeah. He goes, can we do 4 glasses of tequila? Well, my question was, do you have enough for everybody? And it's really good. But then we talk about wine. But still.
So did you relieve him of the tequila?
No, I was in Arizona. I would have otherwise would be in the temples. You would have had some early. You guys all know that we pay Matt with a shot of tequila before we service. That's how he gets paid. That's all he takes. That's all he'll take. He's that holy. He won't take anything else. So, there's the holiness of everything we need to see. We turn to page 53 as we read responsibly into English. God's love. With everlasting love, you love the house of Israel, teaching us your Torah, its mitzvahs, laws, and judgments.
Speak of your commandments, we rejoice forever in your Torah and in your mitzvahs.
For they are a life and our length of our days. On them we will meditate day and night.
May your love never depart from us. Praise are you, O Lord. Restore and love upon your people Israel.
As we pause for a moment, think about, contemplate a God that is unified inside each of us, outside of each of us. And how really we all have so many blessings. Last week while I was out of town, and we had very close relationships, as some of you know, in Arizona. That one man who's 40, his cancer is back. Another man, his diabetes took him down to a blood sugar count of 29. I think I had fallen asleep, but it was actually Peter. It was Pete that some of you met. Tank was the one who's, different people having cancer, different things. People who literally, there are people around who cannot have a piece of bread. Not because it's Passover, because they can't afford it. And so this is a great time to be grateful. And from there we say the Shema, and from that we understand why we pay Haftarah, how we love each other, how important it is. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Ve'ahavta et Elohecha b'kol levav u'nafshecha u'me'otecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi etzarecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinatam levanecha ve'yiparta b'am ve'shitata b'beitecha uvlektecha b'derech u'shoftecha al kamecha u'kshatam le'yot ha'yedecha ve'hayu l'totafot b'minecha u'tatam al mezuzot beitecha u'bisharecha le'man tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai yitem kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohim, Asher Tzeti Adonai Eretz Mitzrayim, Yochachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohim. On page 64 and 5, we have a prayer called the Shamru. Always we say it in Chanoti, Shomer, right? We're supposed to protect the Sabbath. We're supposed to be guardians. We call the person who is outside the wedding chamber protecting the bride and groom a Shomer, a guardian. The Shamru, we shall protect the Sabbath. What does it mean to protect anything, and what do you need to protect something? Do you need strength? Gentleness? Do you need courage? What do you need to really be a guardian? It's, well, do you know what courage means? Courage comes from the French, le coeur, to come from our heart. Doesn't mean not to be scared. You need devotion, and you need, maybe the easiest way of phrasing it is you need simplicity. You need to know what it is we want to guard. Right? How many of your parents can protect your kids no matter what? Is there any great, deep theological understanding? Or it's much simpler than that, and it's deeper than anything, right? That's what it means to protect something, to love it so much. Protection is natural. To love the Sabbath so much, because she loves us so much, to love her so much. It's just natural. You want to protect her. You want to guard her. So we sing this song on page 64 and 65. The Shamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat, the children of Israel, they're going to protect the Sabbath, Asot et HaShabbat, to make for the Sabbath, for L'dor Tam Brit Olam, for all generations, an everlasting covenant between God and between the people of Israel is a sign forever. Because on 6 days, God made the world, the heavens and the earth, but on the seventh, God got a soul. The first Sabbath was God's bar mitzvah. Because the moment we observed it, it made a difference. And so we celebrate with this Shabbat. And remember, although the words here, because most of us, or many of us, grew up post 1948, and so we learned modern Hebrew, which is a Sephardic pronunciation, so we go, Et HaShabbat, right? What's the response to that?
Shabbos.
Shabbos! Am I in the right place? Shamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat Azor et HaShabbat Ne'Torah B'nai Olam Shamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat Azor et HaShabbat Ne'Torah B'nai Olam Miyu B'nai Israel, Oti Leolam, Oti Leolam, Oti Leolam. Shamru B'nai Israel, et HaShabbat, Azor et HaShabbat, Ne'Torah B'nai Olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nai Yisrael et hashabbat azor et hashabbat. Careful to be you, oh Lord. Yom Hashvi, Shabbat Vayinafal, Shabbat Vayinafal, Shabbat Yeah, let's see if I can do that. I can go lower than the guitar, can't I? We heard big 64. So there. For the, or 66, excuse me. Grazie Kaddish. This wonderful segue prayer. Yikada, Mikada, Shameraba. Yom Ativrach, Yotev, Yom Lik Malkute. Behayevon, Yom Echon. Uchayim Lechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala. Ubizman Karim. Yeishmei Rambam Vora, Leolam Ulom Be'almaya, Yitbarak Yishtabak, V'pa'ari Roman V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalam, Shmei Kirusha B'rechu, Le'elam Yikol V'chatav Shir on top is rising. So first of all, for all of you, Kol HaKavod for the last number of months, as we between Sukkot and Passover prayed for rain and wind, and you did so incredibly well. That prayer is no longer to be used. Just want to make it clear. We're done with the Mashiach HaRuach for a while. As we continue on the Amidah on page number 66, okay? 68, and up there on these. We know that one. They're never going to be able to go that low. Yeah? I'm just going off the floor. Okay. Oh, I like that, Matt. That's what I keep on. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, El HaGadol, HaGibor, HaMamra, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'hotzei Yavot, U'meviko El Livnei Bneihem Leman Shmo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Mageh, Baruch atah Adonai, Mageh Avraham. Atah Gibor Atah Adonai, V'chayim Yitim Atah Rav L'Hoshia. Nachapel Hayim B'Chesed, V'chayim Eitim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Rofli V'Rofecho Li, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayem Emunato, Mishei Be'afar, Michamo nemona talchayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai, nechayeh hametim. Please continue the traditional prayers through page 74, your own personal prayers. When you're done with your private devotions, please. Jews, we always pray for peace, not victory. Because peace is the victory. Say that Adam knew not to eat the fruit of the tree, but he ate it for shalom life, for peace. That's what we always seek. So we turn to page 74 our screen as we pray for peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Asim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Asim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Yisrael tasim le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol er u'b'chol sha'a yishomrecha. Shalom Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Yisrael tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim Shabbat Shalom. So this is the first Shabbat after we have finished Pesach. And this particular day, as we said, is the 9th day of the counting of the Omer. It is strength within strength. We talk about being a guardian, but what does it mean to be strong, and how do we know what to be strong? What are our guidelines, and how should we act? And we need to really be righteous in this time period, right? Because we're preparing for the gift of Torah on Shavuot. So we've got to really be prepared. what does that mean we do? How do we do it? And what are our guidelines? And it's all found in this period of counting the Omer. All of it. It's a really important period. This is, if we talk about that Passover is when God and the Hebrews, God and Israel get engaged, and Shavuot is the wedding ceremony. That means the counting of the Omer is the engagement period when you're planning a wedding. How many of you remember planning your own wedding or your children's wedding? There's a lot of pressure. We got to get ready, and there's so much to do. As a bride and groom, you certainly don't want to be messing up, and you need to take care of your bride's family, your groom's family, your macham tons, and you need to your in-laws or your in-laws. She's a farting, remember? How do we do it? And what does that mean to do? As Jews, we try to act right and righteously, right? We've guidelines called the Torah. And it's amplified by the rest of the Bible, the Tanakh and the Talmud and all those things. And we're not just supposed to do right for ourselves, we're supposed to do right for everybody. We're supposed to, when we see an injustice, stop it, right? So, bless you. And it doesn't matter if we're on the side of the injustice or not. If we see something wrong, we're supposed to fix it. So, I'm going to tell you a little story that happened this week. I was kind of disconnected from the news for a while. Yeah, okay. And then I come back to start looking at the news on Monday. And I find out, I went back up even before that. Actually, I'm going to back up 8 years. Viv, that's like a long time ago. We did have indoor plumbing. But we did walk to school both ways, uphill in the snow. So, 8 years ago, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, this isn't about politics. I really want to make this clear. This is not about politics. Okay, this is not about a side or anything else. This is about the ethics. Okay, Debbie Wasserman Schultz condemns a Marco Rubio fundraiser. She condemns the guy that who has the house, the fundraiser, a guy named Harlan Crow. I don't know Mr. Crow. Never met him, never talked to him on the phone, no clue who he is. Okay? Although he's apparently some very wealthy man that if he has a desire and he's watching this service, he can feel free to buy us a building. But beyond that, know nothing about it. But here's what I know. That there she is, and she says, how can Marco Rubio have a fundraiser at the home of a Nazi lover? Because he has a signed copy of Mein Kampf. And that just sounds kind of weird to me. So I do a little research, and I find out that there's this guy named Harlan Crow. He's in Texas, and he has a museum collection that rivals the Smithsonian. Over 10,000 books, over 8,500 manuscripts. The vast majority of it is devoted to political and specific United States history. He has stuff from Columbus, from Vespucci. He has stuff from every signer of the Declaration of Independence, every signer of the Constitution. So he's clearly someone who's into history, right? And he has a small area that's less than 1% of his collection that's called the Rogues Gallery. And in this Rogues Gallery, he has statues or busts or pieces, mementos from Hitler, Castro, Stalin, Lenin, all the great villains in history. Okay? And he has it, and it's, we're not talking about this as his collection, it's less than 1%. And so I read an article from the Jewish Journal, this is 8 years ago, saying, we need to be more conscious. Judaism actually is committed to remembering. We have a whole holiday called Tisha B'Av where we remember the villains. Okay, I don't care about anything else. And so at that time, I just see this being wrong, and so I called the journal, so I write this article, because I just think it's wrong to condemn a man. And I don't know the guy. Never shaken hands with him, never talked to him on the phone, never got an email from him. But I don't know the guy. And So I write this article because that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to call out injustice. Okay. So a week later, I get an email from his wife who says, "I don't know you. Thank you. You are the one person in the country who stood for my husband. You don't even know who he is." And Easter or Christmas, I'll send her an email. Happy Christmas, Happy Easter, Happy Passover, something like that. That's the extent of it. And I come out of, I go back into the news world and I see this stuff about Clarence Thomas and this man, Harlan Crow. Clarence Thomas is attacked because he's friends with a Nazi lover. I've already done the research, so I know that's just not right. Moreover, we have all sorts of judicial laws in Judaism. And remember, the justice system in the United States comes from us. How you knew that? Moses was told by Jethro, his father-in-law, to appoint judges of the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, district courts. The whole justice system is based on biblical justice. So there we are, and I read this, and there's two issues going on. One is, should a justice have a friend with a social friend of someone who's worth that kind of wealth? And the answer is, according to the Torah, yes, because we're supposed to have friends in the community. You're not supposed to separate yourself from the community as a judge, because if you do, you're going to be only basing on the law, not on the people. Makes sense to everyone? And our law is based on people. There is a reason I'm getting around to this. And that's one issue. And then the other issue is, once again, this guy is being, how many of you have heard about this guy in the last week? That this is a Nazi file, Hitler lover. Okay, I'm telling you, what the reality is that he is, and he's not Jewish. I don't know if he's a man of faith or not. I actually have no idea. But he's doing something very Jewish, right? That's Tisha B'Av. That's the whole book of Lamentations, is we remember the villains so that we don't let it happen again. Okay? This is not a right or left political issue. This is not a political at all. This is we need to be strong and step up and say, you know what? Hold on a second. If the guy had a collection that was 99% Hitler, Mao, and Lenin, that's one thing. But if it's 1%, and they're all together, that's another. So, remembering that the time of year it is, I ended up writing an article from a thinker on the same topic again, 8 years later. And then I got interviewed by Fox on it, actually, last night. And about it, because a lot of Jewish leaders have stepped up. Fox actually called me, because a lot of Jewish leaders have stepped up and said that people on left and right politically as rabbis, it's not the point. The point is, you stop injustice. Okay, the point is, someone is being accused of something that is point blank, because it's point blank wrong, and it's not only is it a lie and wrong, but it's actually, he's acting Jewishly, right? We remember our villains. God forbid we forget who Hitler really was. There are enough Holocaust deniers as there are, and as the survivors die more and more, we need to remind ourselves of this. So thank God. And so I just wrote that, just, because as a Jewish leader, to point out that this is wrong. Needless to say, not all emails that got emailed to me in the last 48 hours were user-friendly. But why did I need to do it? And now we're going to come back.
Well, you saw an injustice.
But how do I know it's an injustice, Dan? Because it feels like one to me.
What?
Because it feels like an injustice to me, therefore I need to do it.
No, you realize it's an injustice.
Okay, so, but how do I know that when someone else is lied about to defend them? And now we get to counting the Omer. One of the most important books in Judaism. Pirkei Avot. Ethics of our fathers. Actually, it's chapters of our fathers, but we call it Ethics of our fathers. Pirkei Avot. Traditionally read on every Shabbat between the end of Passover and Shavuot. In the Talmud, There are structurally two pieces of the Talmud. There's the Mishnah, edited by Judah Nasi, the Nasi, and then the Gemara, additional writings besides the Mishnah, and together they make the Talmud. And every tractate of the Mishnah has a corresponding tractate of Gemara, except one. This is all of it, by the way, and this is in Hebrew and English, so it's actually half the size, and this has, each page has about a third of a page of commentary, and it's in Hebrew and English, so it's a pretty small book. And we read it every week between Passover and Shabbat to prepare ourselves for the reception of Torah. How many of you have ever heard about someone goes to, they're going to get married and they go find a rabbi or a priest or a minister and or a wedding counselor, someone who's going to do some counseling with them? Has anyone heard of that kind of stuff? We want to spend time with the rabbi, the priest, the minister, the psychologist, preparing for a wedding. We don't want to understand our relationship better. The way we prepare for our wedding with God is Pirkei Avot. Brief, and by the way, there are commentaries on this, modern commentaries that are volumes and volumes and volumes. There's a great one that's an audio one by Rabbi Beryl Wine that's 20 CDs, and you can listen to it in your car, and it's absolutely brilliant. So Rabbi Beryl Wine, W-E-I-N, rabbi out of New York. And he goes through each one. Really, you delve into it. It's meant to be studied together, to look at it, to dialogue about it, to learn. So how do I know that I'm supposed to stand up? Because this tells me so. How do we know that a judge is supposed to be involved in the community and not sit in an ivory tower? Because it says here that Rabbi Hillel says, do not separate yourself from the committee, or from the community. How do I know that I need to be aware of my needs, but I need to be aware of other people's needs as well, and that I should not hesitate in my actions? I shouldn't think about doing the right thing, I should just do it. Because it says in this book, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? A lot of those little sayings that you've heard come from this book, Pirkei Avot. That the world, al shlosha devarim, the world rests on a tripod of things. Al Torah, the word of God. The Al Ha'avodah, joyous labor. Al Gemilut Chasadim, and acts of loving kindness. How many of you have heard that? Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim. Right? That comes from this. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. We have copies in the library. You can get it online. You can buy a copy. And the idea is, so this week we would read all of chapter 1 and study it. It's important that we lishmor, that we guard, we protect all the values that we know are right. That's really, really important. But you can't guard and protect something unless you know what you're guarding and protecting and what your standards are. So rabbis constantly come up with all these convoluted, deep, this commentator from 1341, and this commentator from 916 in the Saudi Peninsula, and this commentator in Eastern Europe of this Hasidic community says such and such. Maimonides says, and Rashi says, and Ramban says. Oh, that's great. This is what it's about. Simple, direct, plain. You love your child. You love your children. I don't need to explain to any parent the deep Talmudic reason why you love your children, because it doesn't matter, does it? What matters is that you love them. And because of your extensive love, which is a simple love, a straight love, a pure love, you don't need to take it convoluted. Because of that pure love, you automatically are there showing your guardian, right? No matter where they are, no matter how old they are. Mine aren't quite old enough to we have a house to be worried about. Now they're just in the house to be worried about. Right? Because we love them. And there's nothing we wouldn't do for them, right? How do we know how to deal with other people, with our community, in the workplace, in the world, with judicial systems, with educational systems? tells us how to teach children, what they should learn at what age, and why. It tells us all these wonderful, wonderful statements. And it doesn't matter where you turn to, and I really have this is a brand new book, so I have no clue where I'm turning to. The Holy One, blessed be He, desired to confer merit upon Israel. Therefore, He gave an abundance to them of the Torah and of the commandments. The commandments are for the sake of Israel's righteousness and to make the Torah great and glorious. Because He wanted to give us merit, He gave us the Torah. That just happened to be the one that I put up to kind of appropriate. So, what I want to encourage everyone is the following. Take this time period between now and Shabbat. Look it up online. Borrow a copy from the library. Well, please bring it back. Buy a copy from Amazon. There's all sorts of commentaries. There's this particular copy has Hebrew, and directly underneath it, it has the translation of what each Hebrew word means. It's a great way to learn Hebrew as well during this time period. But you want to find holiness in your life and everything else, the way we do it in Judaism is simple. Try to be simple. If you don't want to go through this, if this is a little daunting, I want to suggest a book to you called Jacob the Baker by Noah Ben Shea. Who's ever read Jacob the Baker? Jacob's a fabulous book by Noah Ben Shea. It's probably 30 years old now, about a baker named Jacob, who every morning meditates as his oven is warming and he writes down his thoughts on pieces of paper. One day, one of those pieces falls into a roll. It goes to a community member who realizes that this guy has a lot of wisdom. He comes to Jacob. He says, "Can you make 12 of these little challahs for my Shabbat party on Friday?" Jacob says, "Sure, it's not my wisdom, it's God's." And the town realized that they have a tzaddik, a righteous man in the community. It is a book of quarter-page to two-page teachings, parables, and stories. If this is too daunting, get Jacob the Baker. Just read it.
Is that how the fortune cookie got?
It's the Jewish fortune cookie. Except it's really not the Jewish fortune cookie because there's no bank investment inside as well. No, it's where he got it. It's a beautiful, sweet book. It's by Noah Ben Shea, and this is not written by one. This is assembled by Judah Hanasi, Jew Prince. It's part of it. It's the one Mishnah, the tractate that does not have Gemara. So it's got quotes from all these different rabbis. I say, Rabbi Hillel says this, Rabbi Akiva says this, Rabbi Hanina says that. But if this is a little daunting, go get Jacob the Baker. The subtitle is Gentle Wisdom for a Complicated World. My prayer for all of us this time period as we prepare to get married is to remember that true love is simple and direct. True protection is simple and direct. And most of us know what is right and what is wrong, what is the right thing to do most of the time. And Mr. Crow, if you happen to be watching, we have a big gala coming up. Talk to Rita. So, my point really is that it's all about doing what's right. And if we want to be prepared so that in a few weeks we can receive the Torah, may we all live now with consciousness and simplicity, love and protection. And so doing really deserves, it says there, the merit of Torah. Amen. Do you want to sing something? No. Again, you didn't tell me it was a pink day. Not that it would have mattered because I was rushing so fast.
It's only nominally pink.
I can do a pink tie.
It's nominally pink.
For some reason, the first shirt was I ended up being a dark color.
It's gray mostly.
Kind of like a monster.
It's monochromatic with a touch of pink.
Well, it goes with the guitar on your website. If you're okay about, buy it, rent it, read it online, listen to it, whatever it may be. Announcements. We have no class this Monday. We're gonna start back up with class, probably on either Talmud or meditation, or both. We have Talmud's back on Wednesday. What's the topic, do you remember? We're not sure what the topic is, but it'll be interesting. I think it might be counting Omer, but it'll be interesting, whatever it is. Otherwise, that might be that. But we'll see, we'll figure it out. You'll get emails. We have a fundraising event in May that hopefully we're buying many, many tables for ads in the tribute book, because that's gonna help pay for the synagogue, so that we can do through certain things. We have a second night Seder Mahjong games night. How'd that go?
Lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, good turnout.
Anyone yell Yahtzee?
No. That's good for you.
I played Mahjong.
Yeah.
And I yelled Yahtzee.
Yeah.
And Sherry was proud of me, but no, Rabbi, it's not Yahtzee.
Checkmate, right?
Checkmate. That's it. That's what I'll do next time. What other announcements do we have? Yes.
I have a quick announcement. I partnered up with Lori Nelson and Kim, how do you say her last name? Who's yeah, to help.
Here, pass this to,
facilitate,
pass this to Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I hope everybody can hear me. So I partnered up with Lori Nelson and Kim Fusel to facilitate a silent auction. And we are interested in the community also donating. I have a couple flyers I printed out with our emails and telephone numbers on it. If you have any questions, it could be a piece of art in your house you're not using, or a piece of jewelry, or a gift card you're not using, or a small amount of cash, so we can turn it into something else and make it beautiful. I'm actually connected with the Wisdom Center. I have a store there, so I'm gonna be going around to all the merchants there and seeing if we can get some nice gift baskets and things like that, and creative
Don't
ideas
have
about
plans.
experiences. We're open to just about anything to make it a great event, so if you have questions, please call us.
Thank you. And there is one comment on that though. Okay. Thank you, sir. And I'm actually gonna put a caveat on this to protect you, Rebecca.
Okay, please.
Temple Ner Simcha is not the place that you just emotionally don't want to throw something out, so you're gonna give it to us. Okay? Sometimes people, which is very kind of them, give things that cannot be used for a silent auction. And that puts them in Rebecca and Lori in a very challenging place. So trips are great, really nice art, really nice jewelry, not costume jewelry, diamond bracelets. Because Sherry is gonna force Steve to bid on it. You're gonna get it this time. Trips are great. Here's the other thing, okay? If we can get it in time, so that we have to get it soon. If you have something that is a one-of-a-kind experience, we'll hopefully be timing coordinating the auction with Charity Buzz, which is an online auction system. And things that we may not think are that valuable, sometimes are. As an example, we once put on Charity Buzz lunch with the casting director from Nickelodeon. We sold it for $14,000. So if you have lunch on a TV or film set, lunch in a studio, a meet and greet after a show with someone, because you happen to know whatever, someone works on. Those are things that actually, that may not seem like that.
Don Sweeney did it a couple times for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and it went for thousands, and Kid Jam's done it a few times, and you know, we once David Copperfield donated. See, what's great about Charity Bus is it doesn't even affect any of us, they just do it all separately if we find the items. David Copperfield once gave us 4 tickets, backstage passes, and a private tour of his museum, Magic Museum in Vegas, and I think it went for $7,200 or something. That's just, you know, when you wonder how do we stay alive, that's one of the ways is people donated those kind of things. And then we put it on Charity Buzz, and it doesn't touch any of our donor base, and yet it ends up being worth something. So I want to put that out to you as well. It's a one-of-a-kind experience. Hotel stays are great. I know the Venetian has committed to a 2-night stay. I Mark told me that the El Dorado is committed to a 2-night stay in some presidential suite. So there are some places, things like that. Other announcements? Am I missing something? Anything other than Orlando's beer is getting full?
Francine has an announcement.
I'd like to invite you to a concert.
President Mike.
I can talk louder.
Not to me, you can't.
My choral group will be performing next weekend, Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon in Camarillo. We're doing a choral spectacular. The first act of this is Psalm 100, your favorite, Rabbi.
You do it Hashem b'simcha. The work of God is found being happy.
That's right, and it's a very upbeat concert. I think you'd all enjoy it. We'll be doing Psalm 100 called Jubilate Deo, and that is going to be sung in 7 languages, including Hebrew, Aramaic, Latin, Mandarin Chinese, Zulu, Spanish, and English. And the second act will be just as exciting. It is free to the public. We accept donations, and the donations support the Ventura County schools that cannot afford a music program. So please join us. It's at a very nice venue. There's a performing arts high school in Camarillo, behind the Camarillo Library. And I have some flyers.
We're gonna put it.
We're gonna put it on the website. We're gonna put it on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you. And are you an alto?
I am the first soprano.
You are first. Wow.
She's
the first soprano.
Wow.
Me too. I'm a first soprano. Yeah, that brings over. I've been a first soprano since I was 3. Matt, what you got?
Did anyone happen to notice that Orlando kind of looks like Maynard G. Krebs now? We didn't know Maynard G. Krebs. No, we don't.
So glad I didn't say it.
It's a compliment.
Yeah, I know it.
Well, I'm working, as I always am, Rick Michelle. And the cruises are going strong Saturday and Sundays at brunches in Marina Del Rey. If you want to go and do a group, give me a couple weeks heads up because, I have to sort of work the little labyrinth. And I can get deals on tickets. I can get like half off, I think. Maybe even better. We'll see. And the big vessel, the Entertainer, they have sunk millions and millions of dollars into doing a refurb. It's been dried up. And it is spectacular. It's coming back the end of this month with state-of-the-art sound system and lights and the whole thing. So I've got some private events coming up and also keep up with things. Some stuff in Sierra Madre. I posted on my website, matgurman.com, and it's also on my Facebook page, which I make almost everything public. So you can always find out what I'm doing up there. And I'm here every couple Fridays or so.
There you go. You'll be matched May 21st.
I heard about
With Nate Land.
Nate Lamb.
Nate Land.
Yeah. I left him a message.
Give it a call. Need to.
Yeah.
We
No,
love it.
we already have it.
I'm sure.
The ball's already in the ring.
Yeah, he's amazing. That's what you do. So any other comments? Any other announcements? Any other?
Check on emails.
I'm sorry.
Check on emails.
Check your emails, correct, check your emails. And the other announcement is feel fine eating bread now. You don't have to check the ice cream that has corn syrup. By the way, Haagen-Dazs actually does not have corn syrup, just in case you're wondering for next year. Haagen-Dazs does not have corn syrup, it's kosher Pesach. Tequila is kosher. I'm giving you the options so you know about certain things.
So then why is there Schlivovitz? Why do they even bother me?
You know what? I have never figured out why there's Schlivovitz. God bless the men who drink it, especially my friend Andy. But I have never. Do you guys even know what Schlivovitz is? No, don't insult jet fuel that way. It is I believe it's plum liqueur does taste nothing like a plum. It basically tastes, as he said, like jet fuel. And it's big with Eastern European Jews that after Shabbos morning, Saturday morning, they drink their Slivovitz. No, it's my opinion is if I drink a Slivovitz, someone needs to see the same as Shabbat afterwards. Which brings us to our next prayer. If there's someone you wish to pray for their healing in this time of counting the Omer, ask that you rise as we call out their names. As we call them out, that they may be healed, one who blessed our ancestors blesses them with it. So we go to right? Linda? Keep the sun south, Flores, Javier, Flores. Yedida, Bat Shoshana, we pray for the healing of all of those who need healing this week. For their body, their mind, their spirit, especially those first responders who need healing, who defend us so well, both here in the United States and in Israel. We pray for healing. All those who have no one to pray for them, we pray for it. Complete complete healing of their goof, of their neshama, of their body and their mind. Find the words up on the screen. Mishnah. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the grace to make our lives a blessing. Let us sing, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. Renewal of heart, renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Page 92. We have two prayers. There are three prayers, but there are two that are so important. Boy, is it, it was so nice to be away from news. To come back and see the hate that's in this country from both sides, towards each other. From the left to the right, from the right to the left, from both to the middle, from the middle to both. It's so sad, and this country is so special. So we have this prayer for our country, followed by for the community, the land of Israel. Also painful what is going on. When we struggle with each other, baseless hatred, the Talmud teaches us, that's what destroyed the temple. Baseless, bless you. That's what destroyed the temple, was baseless hatred between Jews. Rabbi Shulchan is fond of saying we can disagree without being disagreeable. That is true for the mind of Israel, it is true for our nation. So I ask that everyone turn to page 92 as we read responsibly. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings upon our country and upon the leaders of our nation and of our communities. Unite the inhabitants of our country of all backgrounds and creeds, so that we may banish hatred and bigotry, safeguard our noblest ideals, and preserve those institutions which nurture liberty.
May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, helping all people to be free and
Lo yisrael goy cherev. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For the work of righteousness shall be peace, the effect of righteousness calm, and confidence forever. And together we say, and we ask your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, for the people of Israel. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. God, fulfill in our day the ancient promise that Zion should be redeemed through justice and its inhabitants through righteousness, and together we say, Amen. We turn to page 118. The Elenium. Take upon ourselves this week, this Shabbat, take upon ourselves in this case, owning and expressing and integrating simple love, simple guardianship, and simple stewardship. I get it. It's really bestseller for 2,000 years. This exact copy. The binding is not even broken. We rise as we turn to the Elenium. Take upon the yoke of the kingdom of heaven. Aleinu shabbat adonako, ateinu ladu yotzei b'reishit, shalom kivei abrasot, ve'lo samanu yishmor ha'adonai, shalom kivei kahen, ve'kol aleinu k'kol ha'adonai, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים מודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא כשמיים ונושא הארץ משה יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינת זו וגודל Eloheinu, 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 Efesuato, Vagatu, Betorato, Betatayo, Vashivota, Elevaveha, Adonai, Elohim, Vashamayim Mimah, Me'aharetz, Me'aharetz, Eino, Akturoz Echa, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam, V'ateh, Ne'ema, Adonai, Melech Avnu Haaretz, Vayom Bahu, Vayom Bahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, U'Shemo, Please be seated. Page 124, the cottage. That we may live our lives in a way that makes those who went before us, and may give them pride and joy. There's someone you'd like to remember because it is the year of mourning. The outside, or just because I ask that you rise as we call out the names of those who remember this time.
Parents are Lou Wolford, Louise John Wolfer, Mark Blackover, and Paul Katz. Mark Selected, Holly Viv Shapiro.
All of those people.
Jeff Barclay.
Jeff Barclay. Thank you, Ben. All those people who have died in service of this nation of Israel, we remember them. All those who have died through acts of man or God, we remember them. All those who have no one to remember them, we Remember them if it is your custom to rise during Kaddish, ask that you do so. As we turn to page 124, recite the morning's Kaddish. Yikadal, Yikadash, Shnei Rabah. Be'omad yivrach v'letei v'yamlit v'malchutei. V'chayachom, v'yomachom, v'chayidachom Beit Yisrael, v'adalam v'zman kadi v'imru. Yehi Shmei Rabah HaVorach, V'lamal Adonai Almayah, Yitbarach v'shtabach v'pahar v'tomam v'yiknaseh, V'nadar v'talei v'talal, Shemei t'kiddushah v'ri'eh. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechamata, Damiran Melma v'yikru. Yehi Shmam Rabah v'shamayah v'chayim, Aleinu v'al Yisrael. Osei Shalom v'Roma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Amen. O Israel. May the one who ordains peace and bring peace upon their souls, their families, their communities. Peace upon this community, peace upon this nation, peace upon Israel. Please God, peace in all time. All of you. Together we sing.
Amen.
Adon with a melody to make Rita women happy. She didn't even notice, did she? Me, I do the melody. What? No, I want to make Rita happy. Adon Olam, Hashem Echad, B'terem kol Yeshir Yirah, Le'et Nasa, V'Chesed Lo, Azai Melech, Shemot Yirah, Ve'Yamare, Yiklot Ha'kol, Le'vado Yiklot Nora, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Ofed, Ve'hu Yiyeh, V'Tikvara, Ve'hu Echad, V'Yeksheh, V'Vashirah, V'Yirah, V'Mireshit, V'Likasih, V'Lo Ma'oz, V'Ha'Mizrah, Ve'hu Eli, V'Ha'Yoeli, V'Tzurchechi, V'Tzara, V'Hu Nisi, U'Manosli, V'Nakosi, Ve'Yomer. Please rise. Ve'Yado Hiruchi, Ve'Tishan Va'ira, Ve'Ruhi, Ve'Yati, Adonai Ve'Lo. We all be blessed. In health, prosperity, joy, life, and happiness. Shabbat Shalom!